So welcome everyone. It is November the 17th. We're racing through November and we're still working with compassion here, but I think this will be the last one. Oh, we're not on the homepage here, but I just got to get this set up here. There we go. Maybe I'll go back. No, I can't go back. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, I can't go back. So we haven't got the title page, but it's Home to the Heart Book Club. And we're going to go deeper into compassion with the Buddha, and I think this will be the last one. And then next week, we're going to start the first universal law with Sanat Kumara, and he is just chomping at the bit. He's been with me all day and yesterday, so he can't wait. But the most important circle right here is that yellow one to listen to the audio. So next week, I'll show you how to get to the first law. But the Buddha, if you've listened to him, his voice is just so amazing. He's so wise. So the room is full. We have a lot of our galactic friends here and so many more. So just welcome to all the beings in the higher realm that have joined us. And let's ask the mother to put her cloak around us. So feel that beautiful, the heaviness of that blue velvet cloak and the hood and how it protects us, how healing it is for her clarity and for us to feel that trust and faith in the divine plan, her divine plan. And let's post Archangel Michael along the door wall. And you can do this with me. So post the mighty ones around you. This is the way to create a beautiful, colorful healing chamber. The vibration and frequency of the mighty ones around us. So Archangel Michael, and then the next wall, Archangel Raphael. And I forgot to say last week when I was talking about the mighty ones, Archangel Michael he really wants us to focus on our infinite potential. So that's one that we'll go into with him. So then Archangel Raphael, and he carries the emerald flame of healing and love, and it's just such a wonderful energy. And then Archangel Uriel along the next wall, and he carries the silver flame of truth to help us face into our fears and really go deep in and know how loved we are. And Archangel Yophael along the next wall, that magenta amethyst of wisdom and compassion and beauty. And he does teach us awe, which is the magic. And he has this magical Yofi dust that we can sprinkle to lighten things up. And then Archangel Gabriel in the middle. And this is our golden ascension spiral of joy. We're all helping raise the frequency on the planet, for all of us to be in our joy and our sacred purpose, really excited about life. Okay, so that's what it can look like. We're asking the mother to put her cloak and posting the mighty ones, creating the healing chamber around us. So in that is the colors, the sound, the love, the nature within and without. Love is everything. So just breathe. And breathe that green, that emerald green, and let's drop into the heart chakra. But in the breath, breathe in and pause. I haven't been talking enough about this pause. So pause a moment and then drop down into your heart space and simply be in the heart. And we're going to say a little prayer and then we'll get started. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, counsel of love and counsel that serves, we gather here this evening, united in heart and purpose, seeking guidance through the doorway to your sacred wholeness. We have heard your call and we answer now with our hearts, souls, and minds. We are your children and servants, companions in spirit, co-creators in form. We walk this planet Earth, Terra Gaia, this ancient garden of green. We come prepared and clear in our intent to join wholly and completely this night with all, with joy, with the divine, with love. We seek our birthright and our inheritance. We seek that which is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be. We seek those blessings in order to better serve our companions of earth, to be of service to the one, to show our love for each other and for Gaia. In this we join our hearts and pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Okay. So there was a little bit of a question about Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva last week. So I checked in with Steve and looked it up, and the functions, they represent the cosmic functions of creation, preservation, and destruction. Now, the Council of Love teachings, they do not really use these words. They use creation a lot, but not so much preservation and destruction. But so Steve talked about it as creation, preservation, and transformation, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and also how it connects to the breath. Of course it does, because it's a trinity. So it's like the mother, the father, the one being the child, the one being the oneness as well, the combination of the mother and the father. But with the in-breath, this is how powerful the breath is. So the in-breath, the pause, and then the out-breath. So if we relate it back to the tri-flame, the healing, the awakening to the truth, and the action, the in-breath is the healing, the awakening is the pause to the awakening to the truth. Yeah. And then the out-breath is the action. So it does make sense. So that pause is very important, especially when you're going into meditation. But even if you find yourself in a type of anxiety or out of sorts, if you can just stop and breathe and remember the pause, it makes a really big difference. So it's just in breath, pause, and then out breath. Yes, Darren.
Yeah, I think that breath would be very powerful for your pneumonia as well.
Yeah, it's very healing. Very, very healing. So, yes, Archangel Michael confirmed this with Steve back in 2020. And then he also had this amazing channeling with Sri Shankara. So he was an 8th century Vedic scholar in 2013. And it was quite a long message on one of Steve's radio shows. But what I pulled from it was he said, can this be a time of renunciation for all on earth, where you declare not only the understanding that there are many faces, many pathways, but they are all equal. So whenever we look out in the world and we see all the disarray, just for us to be quite detached from it all and just be blessing it all and just knowing everyone is on their individual pathway. And he says they all end at the same place, the one. They all begin, travel, and end at the same place. So we're all on that same journey, and that we are actually, if the way the Council of Love talks about source as the mother, the father, the oneness being all of us in community, but we are also the one. We are the child of the mother and the father in from source. So we are the ones in the action with the out breath. We're here to create a really loving, peaceful, joyful planet with the out breath. So to know on the in breath that you're healed, we are healed. It's just us really knowing that. And then the pause is that real deep understanding of the awakening that's happening. And the out breath is us all in our action of joy to create a planet that really works for everyone. And it's interesting because the Bodhi tree is known for its ability to purify the air. So when you're sitting in the heart, sit under that Bodhi tree and really know it's working with the breath as well. So fun. Okay. So I read you this meditation last week, but I hadn't really colored it properly. But I've put in, so if we breathe in the pine forest, the silence, this is the breath, this is the mother of the deep forest, of the redwood forest. So they're going deep down to the root chakra, the Carolinian forest, and that sense of quiet. So this is the mother energy, the slight dampness in the air, again, the moisture, the mother connected to the water. Even though the pine needles under your feet are dry in a cushion, that's us remembering the framework of the laws. So they always relate back how things work in the higher realms to nature. And I just wasn't picking up on it. So this is the framework, the cushion, the law system telling you that Gaia holds you softly. So she holds us softly with the framework of the universal laws. And we're going to get into that next week. But I think that was the main one that I missed. But it's about the red and the green. This meditation was all about the red and the green of compassion and relating it to nature. The red sunset, the green forest, and really breathing that in, because when you're outside and you're in nature and you're relating it to the different healing of the plants, the colors, the sound, that is the nature, you see, the nature, the animals, the masters. Compassion is a key to our going forward together, never in judgment, but support. So there's that, the balance, the support, and here's the dry cushion of the pine needles. So you can see how they relate it back to nature all the time. But the next meditation, I'll make sure I pick up on it. And just remembering it's a ladder system. We're going up and down the ladder, and it all relates to the colors. The joy is that golden energy, the balance, being in gratitude, walking every step in gratitude can make a huge difference to dissolve the old belief systems. The blue that's in the magenta, that's the healing, the hope, the forgiveness. Yeah, so just know it's like the blue and the tri-flame, and then there's the yellow of the father energy, the action, joy, being in action, being in gratitude is an action. And we're learning to love and serve without judgment. That's the biggest one. If you can catch all those judgments in the mind, that is the real practice. And just remembering to say, no, no, compassion. This is the knowing we are healed. Everything is forgiven in the higher realms. We are not sinners. Even if we've acted out of alignment, it's just been a wild adventure here. And now is our time to not judge it, especially anything that's happening out in the world. There's a lot of information coming forth right now of what hasn't worked on the planet. If you can bless it, you can violet flame it, you can drop Yofi dust on it, you can just breathe out that magenta and surround it in the magenta. We're really loving what has happened here all the time from our hearts. So breathing green, pausing, and then dropping into the heart chakra is our awakening, our expansion. Remembering we're working from our hearts. So this is a bit more about the tri-flame. It's time for us to be conscious of our tri-flame in the heart. All the flames equal, the middle pink flame of the self, the mother's blue flame, and the gold of the father. A daily practice of healing with peace, truly knowing how loved we are, and creating with gratitude and joy. So that balance becomes our reality, the mother's plan. You can sense, even if you can't see it, you can sense it in your heart, the blue diamond flame, the pink diamond flame in the middle with its spark of the silver, the truth, and the gold diamond flame, how they burn brightly. When we anchor in that place of consciousness, we are fully capable of holding the vibrations, energies, lessons, understandings, and growth of all 12 dimensions available to us on this planet. This flame in the heart, as I said, I've learned more watching that than anything else. The mother is constantly infusing our tri-flames with life force, inspiration, ideas, and the energy to keep going. We are here to create, not in the paradigms of the old third, but with the higher realms, our ascension, claiming our positions in service, keyed into our infinite creation and expansion, not cowering in fear, limiting ourselves. The mother says we are here to be beacons of truth, holding the light so everyone can find a sense of calm, peace. In the relaxation in our heart space is the feeling of safety. So it's a really safe place to be in your heart, just breathing in. And if any of the old energy comes up, then you can address it much more simply when you're anchored in the heart space. Truly embracing healing, rejuvenation, restoration. It is our joy, our sacred purpose to discover this within for our external reality to shift. Breathe in, hold the breath a moment, and on the out breath, drop into the heart space and discover who we truly are. It's a really good daily practice. And sitting with the Buddha under the Bodhi tree, like, and you can see the tri-flame when you do that as well. And he's saying to share all your worries and woes. It can't balance out until there is forgiveness, self-forgiveness, then forgiveness of one another. And that creates peace. That is the healing. So he's asking us to sit with him. And I'll keep reminding us to do that as we go through. So instead of being grumpy, I used to be this all the time. Being grumpy is judging about anything. We're being the healing within. We're being the blessing for everyone, being in gratitude for every action. So really catch yourself if you're grumpy and turn it into gratitude. Everything, you can be grateful for everything. It's quite amazing. And just know it's all in this field, all these fields around you. Compassion is all in these fields. And of course, all your lifetimes are here. Your biggest self is here. That's very angelic, very good at blessing everything. And this is the Hathor wisdom. Remembering to be gratitude, even if you're not feeling like being gratitude. If you can master that, you're there. Okay. And this is when we give away the old energy. Just let it bubble off your hands. It's instantaneously transmuted. Okay, so now this is what we missed last week. I'm just going to make sure I'm in the right place. Here we go. So this is the Buddha. There is a tendency to try and to heal or to fix or to redirect, redirect the journey or the pathway of another. And often this is done out of the kindest of motivations and of love. But it is the balance that we speak of this day, is it not? Because it is one thing to have a conversation with someone because you believe and it is your opinion that they're going off track. And it is quite another to be strident about it and to try and truly pull them in a direction that they really do not wish to go in. I wish I could say that this practice is rare, but it is very commonplace, and you see it in every walk of life and in every situation imaginable. When you try this form of redirection, and it is that fine line where love moves into ego, you are denying the soul path and journey of another. And you're also assuming that you know the outcome and the lessons that are to be learned, the experiences that are to be had, the value of those experiences, and the value of the pathway itself. It sort of goes back to what I said at the beginning. If we're watching the news or oh, that's Laura. Watching the news or, seeing something chaotic out in the world, lots of times the pathways to, to find our enlightenment is going into the chaos and going right through it. So, it's better just to stand back and not to judge, just to support another's pathway, because as he says, we truly do not know. You cannot possibly know, what's going on for another person and why their pathway is what it is. He says, I've watched my son go into war and to die, and it challenged my faith, my stillness, even my journey. And in the decision of that direction, even though I was aware of the dangers that lay ahead, I thought I knew best. But you cannot interfere. You provide wisdom and love, insight and sharing, and then you stand back, detached and attached at the same time, holding the higher vision for that person and their journey, for the collective and their journey, but honoring their choices. You cannot do it for them. And when you try through undue influence or pressure, you are like a thief in the night. And what you are really doing is saying, I do not have any faith in you, and I do not trust that you are guided and protected, and that you have your journey that I may or may not understand. And then he says, now it is natural. I do not wish for you to think that I speak against the laws of nature. So it is natural, particularly as parents, and I speak to all of you who are parents and guardians in form, to want to protect and not only keep your children safe, but to protect them from heartbreak and sorrow and disillusionment. But then there is also the balancer, which is trust that these beings that are of your loins are also ancient, wise ones that know what they are doing. And that is particularly so with the children of today, the bright pinks and magentas, crystals and rainbows, being born onto Gaia to lead the way into the new realm of new earth. So we see a lot of the younger generations really struggling right now. Some of them are living in tents, homeless, addicted, but unless they experience what really doesn't work, they 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 have a better understanding of what does by learning what doesn't work. I know it was with me. I have so much compassion for that because with my experiences, so it just goes back to the Buddha saying we just don't know what they're learning and why they're learning that. So it's best just to stand back, detached, and just keep sending love and sending blessings. Because these new children, the ones that are coming to me for readings, they are really understanding that they do have sacred purpose and that they're here to help change the planet. So it's in all the young people. It's really, really, really fascinating to see. Yes, Darren.
That's so true. You can never tell anybody something. They have to see it for themselves. And that's the only way they really learn it deeply.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. So if you see, the ones that are, I mean, there's a terrible addiction crisis happening right now and homelessness and people, accessing the food banks. But maybe that's the way that everything's going to change because they can feel this isn't right. So then they got to spring into action and be the action. I watched Pierre Poilievre give an interview and he was talking about the conservative leader for Canada, and he talked about going into a recovery center and talking to the young people and asking them to stay on track and then reach back and help the next person that they see. And for that to continue on so that we're all lifting each other up into that place of equality. So everyone has sacred space. And I just thought, wow, that was so cool that he said that. So and then the Buddha says, so you are in a difficult position. You are entrusted as the guardian, and yet it is the ability not to judge what you do not sometimes understand. And then there's the even greater challenge and difficulty, my friends, my fellow parents. It is to stand back after you have reached the point where you're honoring the pathway of your children and not judging yourself, because that is also a tendency as well. I choose to be a parent. I assume this journey and this pathway, and now look at what I'm doing. What if I fail? Because there is a belief that if your child fails or missteps, and somehow you have as well. And then he says, where is the compassion? Where is the goddess in that? Where is the place of Kuan Yin? So Kuan Yin, she rides a dragon. She invites you to ride on the dragon with her. You can do that in meditation. What she's doing is she's taking you up to see the higher perspective so that you can bless it all like your angel self. That is what she's doing on the dragon. It's really something for her to come and be with you in meditation. It is also true of your light worker community, of this brilliant circle, that you worry at times when you see someone off on a tangent or in need, even in dire need, and you think, how can this be? If it is a merciful, abundant, plentiful, generous, compassionate universe and source, how is it that my friend, my family is living in hell, in pain and misery? And of course, your judgment of this only adds to that burden of that pain and misery. So it's our mastery to detach from it all, stand back and bless it all, and attach to the higher vision. Of course, it's good to do your information gathering. So that's the Buddha explains attachment and detachment. Attachment, information gathering, so you get a clear idea of the picture, then detach, and especially detach from judgment, any judgment, and attach to the highest vision. So it's it's wonderful when you can stand back. I remember Archangel Gabriel telling me once there was a lot of drama happening around me, and she said, "Stand still, child, stand still." She says you can learn more just watching, standing still, than anything else. And it was true. All of a sudden, I stood way back from the situation, then I could see what was going on much more clearly. So detaching it's a very powerful position to be in. Compassion, and that is why I've asked to speak on this today to each of you. It is an overused word and an incomplete, not misunderstood, but not completely understood or integrated. And this is also true for the light workers who have learned to say, I don't have sympathy, I have empathy, I have compassion. But what does this really mean? It is the complete honoring without understanding of what someone is going through, whether it is winning millions of dollars in a lottery or dying of cancer. It is the understanding that you don't understand always. It is complete trust, not only in the divine plan, but in the plan of the individual. It is the compassion that they have chosen mechanisms, because that is all they are, mechanisms to arrive at their deeper wisdom and their enlightenment that you may not understand or agree with. And it is at times heart-wrenching, the heart-wrenching, conscious heart decision to be the observer, to absorb, to support and not interfere. And my friends, I know how difficult that is. Now you say to me, Father, do you mean that I do not perform an intervention when I see someone in harm's way? And he says, no, that is not what I mean. But I do mean that you do not ever do so in a judgment or an assessment of what you think that individual is experiencing or going through. I do not say, do not hold out a helping hand. So he's saying, hold out a helping hand. Compassion is also non-attachment, and that is hard to practice. So what do you do? Long ago, I've taught this channel the value of attach, detach, attach, and I do so for all of you because my teachings do not change a great deal. Attach to the person or the situation, to the truth of it as you understand it, not in interference, but just to assess and understand. It is like information gathering. Then you completely step back and detach from the drama, from the lower vibrations, from what holds someone on a painful journey. So you detach because you never wish to contribute to that. You become the silent, still observer. Then attach to the fulfillment of that person's journey, not describing it or you deciding what it should look like, should be or look like, what it should contain, but the divine rightness of the journey that they had determined eons ago, and attached to that vision and that rightness with and for them, and hold that vision for them without judgment, without interference, leaving them free to maneuver. Because when you are holding on to someone, trying to force them to go this way or that way for their own good, you are manipulating, and it is an ego action, and it is neither of love, nor trust, nor hope, nor prudence. That is the action you take. You live now in this wonderful society that is in rapid change, and what you have thought and accepted as explanations of how things work throughout the universe are expanding and shifting rapidly. But at the same time, you're also living in a society that historically has loved to have instant explanations of how things work, how they function, and why they misfunction. You want explanations for everything. And he says that is foolish because it is so much larger. So what I'm asking you, my dear friends, is to let go of some of this need to always know and understand. Do not judge every day as if it is your last on earth or your first. You are in the eternal flow of the Divine Mother. You are not about to enter or exit that. It is eternal. Find the balance. I do not suggest to you that you simply proceed blindly, but find the balance on what is important to your own journey to understand and what is simply unexplainable given your current situation. So he's saying not to worry too much. I think the more we live in our hearts out of the mind, it really helps. Because in the heart is everything you need to know. And then you can just let everything else go. It's the mind. It's the mind that really is the monkey.
Mhm.
And the
100%.
yeah, what's
Monkey
that?
mind. 100%, Kathleen. Monkey mind. And
Yeah,
you get in the loop.
that's right. And so then he ends with, you say, I have difficulty with this, Father. And he says, I know, because to silence the mind and simply be in the heart is a discipline, a practice. So when you find yourself in that wheel of confusion, come sit with me under the Bodhi tree, where we can empty your mind and your heart and simply sit together in the wonderness of awe. So yeah, he keeps reminding us to come down into the heart space and just practice being there and operating from there. And then it's easier to go out in the world too, because you're really much more in a state of detachment. And the drama is just the drama. You can recognize it. Okay, that's drama. And then just bless it. And then just bless it and bless it and bless it. And then it's much easier to be. But yes, any questions about any of that? Yes, Darren.
So how do you get down to or stay in the heart? Is that simply practice or is there more to it?
What do you think?
Well, to me, it's just practice, but I thought there may be things I don't know about it.
Well, it becomes as from my experience, becomes more of a natural way of being. So it like you know how the Buddha says say no compassion for the judgments. It's and then he says that it just becomes second nature. That's how it feels to me. It's just more and more being. Mm,
Okay, thanks.
mhm. But I mean, I think it's different for everyone because everyone's so unique. So, but it's pretty standard what the Council of Love says. Like when Archangel Michael first brought this to my attention back in 2011 and said we're here to remember to be in our hearts. I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. And lots of people that come for readings, when I say, that we're here to remember our heart consciousness, to be, consciously aware of how what it feels like to operate from the middle of our being rather than from our minds, that the mind comes into alignment, the more we're focused on the heart. The mind just naturally balances both sides when we're aware of our tri-flame and the flames are equal. Then it actually literally goes right to the mind as well. Both sides of the mind balance, and you can walk anywhere without fear. There's a lot less fear. I used to be highly anxious and fearful and sad all the time. And so the more we focus on the heart and who you truly are and those flames balance, it just ripples up in and helps balance the mind. So, and then it's easier to be like your angelic self, blessing everything. So then you see everything as every step, even chores that can be quite mundane. They actually, when you're focusing on being grateful, it changes them. They become very not mundane anymore.
Yeah, that's right. It's the mind's judgment that makes them mundane, really.
Yeah. So when you're more focused in the middle of your being, and you understand, you've got all this healing in all the chakras right down to the base of the spine, all those different colors, and they're spinning and they're very active. Life becomes much more exciting, even if it's just the simplest of tasks that we're doing. So it's a real awareness. So what happens when we're traumatized? We tend to jump out of the body. We're not really anchored in the physical form. I'll never forget, I had a shaman look at me before COVID, and she says, "How are you even operating? You're not in your body." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she did this little exercise with me, and she dropped me in so that I could feel what it felt like. And I was like, "Oh, this feels so different." And yeah, so then it was a practice of maintaining that feeling of being in the body. But if you've had quite a bit of trauma or disappointment, or you're in anxiety, you're generally not really even in your body that much. You're not grounded into your body, and we don't even recognize how it feels. So the practice of sitting still and dropping into the heart space and operating from there, focusing on the tri-flame, it can ground you into your body. And then the experiences of trauma that we've had melt away into, you're seeing the higher perspective of them, where they become a blessing. Oh, I experienced that. Now I have greater compassion for someone else who's experiencing that. And you can just walk forth and more in a state of joy than being grumpy. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kathleen. That was well said.
Oh, okay, that's good. You're welcome. Okay. Well, we're under the wire here. I think that's all. Does anybody want me to go over anything that was said, or any more comments or anything? Or we could make this a shorter one too, because we've got a few people not feeling great. And we could just do our 10 minutes of sending. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, good. And when we're sending, let's send to Jane, to Carrie, to Ken, to Stefan, all of us who aren't a little bit under the weather. And then so you guys just open to receive, and we'll send. How's that sound?
That
Beautiful.
sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
okay, good. Okay, awesome. So I have my timer already and I'm going to mute myself, but take a nice deep breath of green and pause, do the pause, drop into your heart space. And if you're not feeling great, just receive. And all of us who are, you send. Let's send to our loved ones here. Okay, see everyone in 10 minutes. Okay. That's 10 minutes. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Kathleen.
You are so welcome. Did you feel the energy coming in, Stefan?
I did. Thank you.
Oh, good. Good. Well, we'll continue to send Darren and Lillian. Well, let's keep sending to these guys all week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Appreciate
And
it.
Darren,
Well,
Darren,
yeah,
what you were saying about lemon water alkalining the body,
yeah.
do you know that sodium bicarbonate also does the same thing?
Well, I don't know. I tend to go for natural things as much as I can, so that's why I like lemons.
Well, sodium bicarbonate is baking soda. It's as natural as it come, and I buy the aluminum-free stuff. And if you've got heartburn or acid reflux, it's the best thing to take. It works almost instantaneously. So that,
Well, for that, I use apple cider vinegar.
yeah, there you go. Okay, you're on it. Ask Stefan. I use baking soda and vinegar and apple cider vinegar a lot for things.
Yeah, she's got me on it, and it does work very well. I've actually stopped taking my Prevacid, which is an anti acid medication that I've been on for 15 or 20 years, and completely stopped taking it. And with the change in my diet, and also as needed, I have it in my bedroom, I have it in my bathroom, and down here in the kitchen. And when I need to use it, it works instantly. It's amazing. So thank you, Jane.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're on the right path. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Sharing is caring.
Beautiful. Okay, well, that was fun. Thank you, everyone, for all that.
Thank you, Kathleen. I always look forward to this night.
Ah, what? I love that.
Thank you. I love the sound of your voice and your teachings. So you're such a gift.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, well, how about we reconvene next week then? And wishing you all a really fun week and good health, bringing you back to health.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Likewise, too. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Good
Good
night.
night.
Take care. Huh?
Good night.
Thank you.